Hello, in this video I would like to discuss the concept of shallow breathing versus deep conscious breathing. The question I have for the viewers is, how would humanity look like if we were taught conscious breathing techniques such as pranayama since nursery school? How would people behave? How much energy would they have? These are the questions I've been asking myself for quite some time now. Based on my experience, when it comes to breathing techniques, it usually goes one of the three ways. Someone has never seen any breathing techniques, so they live in ignorance and they don't even realize that there is such a world, such as the breathwork world. Two, people are aware, but they never bother trying it. So there are people who know about breathing techniques, they know who Wim Hof is, they've heard about all the yogis, yogic breathing, everything else, but it's just not interesting for them. They never bother trying, so they never see the benefits. The third group is the people who tried it, however they haven't managed to unlock the real power. So they tried it, once or twice, and then they give up. And those are the three main stages of people, and very select few have tried breath work, seen the real benefits and managed to incorporate it into their daily life. When it comes to shallow breathing, I would describe it as taking the bare minimum oxygen you need to stay alive. The reality is most people, they're very distracted by daily lives, whether it's work, whether it's depression, or even positive things, hobbies, friends. Everyone is always distracted from the morning they wake up, during work, after work. This means their minds are never focused on breathing, so they are permanently stuck in their shallow breathing mode, I call it. So they breathe like this. They take in the bare minimum to stay alive, and they take in the bare minimum to function. Personally, I believe that is not the most efficient way to live, because it's been scientifically proven how beneficial oxygen is for us. So why would someone want to take in the bare minimum they possibly can instead of taking in as much as they possibly can? And the science behind shallow breathing is pretty simple. Well, first of all, breathing is not taught anywhere, so you can't just magically figure out, I'm gonna breathe in deeply. We just go with what is natural for us. And the natural way to breathe for us is not beneficial. One aspect is no one ever taught us proper breathing technique. They're not taught in school. Our parents usually don't teach them to us, and it's simply much easier for the human brain to choose their natural way of breathing because it doesn't require focus. Your mind wanders in your own head while as your body just breathes, and we call that automatic. So the reality is shallow autonomous breathing is much easier because we don't need to focus on it. So our bodies and minds naturally just prefer breathing like that. Focusing on the breath is a hard task to do. Believe me when I say, even for 5 minutes, non-stop focus is a hard task to accomplish. And this is why we just choose comfort. Even people that have researched and have tried breathing techniques, a lot of the time they will try it, they will see the benefit, but they won't stay consistent with it. When it comes to deep conscious breathing, it allows us to absorb much more oxygen than we normally would. For example, if the shallow breath is about 1 or 2 seconds per inhale and 1 or 2 seconds per exhale, if you really want to, you can drag out your inhale to about 30 seconds per inhale, 45 seconds per inhale. So if the normal inhale is 2 seconds and you manage to inhale for 30 seconds, theoretically that's 15 times the amount of oxygen you now have managed to absorb. So with deep conscious breathing, we manage to focus our minds on the physiological process of breathing, and this allows us to slowly and gradually rebuild our oxygen levels. Simply put, due to no conscious breathing throughout our lives, we create what I like to call an oxygen deficit. We take in the bare minimum oxygen we need, and we don't really ever take any extra. The only time we take in extra oxygen is when we create a physical oxygen deficit. For example, if I sprint, then I start breathing heavy to regather the oxygen I just have lost for the sprint, and that's the only time people ever take in more oxygen than they really need. All this other time they just do shallow breathing, and with shallow breathing the oxygen only ever really reaches top of your lungs. People go the air never really goes below the sternum. So how can we expect to clear out the air from the whole lungs if the way we breathe doesn't allow us to take in oxygen lower than the upper chest? Doesn't really make sense, does it? So, the objective of deep conscious breathing is to slowly and gradually exchange the stagnant carbon dioxide within our bodies that was created due to lack of proper conscious breathing. Over time, your body will become more alkaline, you will have more energy, and you will just feel different simply because you have finally discovered the art of breathwork and you're finally building your oxygen levels, which were in a deficit for as long as you remember. Me personally, I try to be focused on my breath since I wake up all the way till I'm going to bed. There is not a time of the day where I want to not be focused on my breath. When you get more advanced, focusing on the breath and doing deep conscious breathing becomes available when doing different tasks. For example, reading, typing, standing, stretching, anything you can think of. You can do it being focused on your breath. Don't get me wrong, it's a difficult thing to do. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. However, there is a lot of power hidden in being focused on your breath. And this is why I'm making this channel, to encourage everyone to be focused, to be mindful, to be present on the breath. The benefits outweigh any cons there are. I don't think there is even one single con, but the benefits are really life-changing. So I encourage you, do some deep conscious breathing. Feel for yourself. See if you can even focus 5 minutes on deep conscious breathing.